Welcome back, fabulous artists. Today we are going to be adding warm colors with paint to our Romero Britto pumpkins. What I need for today is a cup of water, my paints, and a paper towel for drying off my brush in between colors. We will be using warm colors only today. Warm colors are any colors that remind us of things that are warm. So think of the sun or fire. What colors would those be? Yellows, reds, pinks, oranges. Those are the colors we're using today, and we are working only on our pumpkins. When we paint, we start with the lightest color first. If I look at my paint palette, yellow is the lightest, so I'm gonna start with my yellow. I don't need to get my brush wet or anything to start with. These are liquid watercolors, so I'm just gonna dip my paintbrush in the paint, and I'm gonna decide where do I want my yellow to go. I think I'm gonna start right here on my zigzags. When I paint, I wanna start on my edges and go nice and slow so that I stay in my lines. And then once I have my edges done, I can paint a little bit faster in the middle. Now, I'm sticking with yellow. I'm not changing colors yet, so I don't need to wash out my brush. If I need more paint, I can dip my paintbrush back in the paint, but I don't need to add water yet. And I think I'm going to be making a color pattern. So I'm gonna go yellow, orange, yellow, orange, yellow, orange, and repeat. So next place I would put my yellow is here. Slow on my edges, so I stay in my lines. I don't have to push down hard with my brush. Really light. We don't want to smush the bristles like that. That's not good for the brushes. I'm just gonna brush nice and soft in here, and I can go a little bit faster once my edges are done. Dipping my brush in the paint. I haven't put my brush in the water yet. I don't need to wash it out. I just need more of the same color, so I just put my brush back in the paint. Now that I'm done with my zigzags, I want to think about any other place on my pumpkins, not the background, on my pumpkins that I want yellow. That way I don't start mixing paints. I'm still sticking with the lightest color, and I'm gonna find any other spots on my pumpkins that I want with yellow. My shapes that are next to each other cannot be the same color, so if I'm using yellow here, I can't use yellow here. I could go over here and fill in my confetti if I wanted to, but then the background of my confetti can't also be yellow. My shapes next to each other have to be different colors. Now that I'm done with my yellow, I can wash out my paintbrush. So I'm gonna add my brush to the water. When I rinse out paint though, I don't want to just swirl my paintbrush in the cup. That doesn't clean out all of the paintbrush. It'll do the outside bristles, but it doesn't get the inside clean. So when I clean out my brush, I want to make sure that I'm pushing my brush on the bottom of my cup. And if I look really carefully, I can see yellow paint coming out of that paintbrush. When I think it's clean, I'm gonna take my brush and I'm going to wipe it on my paper towel and check. Oop, I don't see any yellow paint in there, so I'm good. I'm ready to move on to my next color. So now my next lightest color would be orange, so I'm gonna do my orange paint. I'll dip my paintbrush in and paint in all of the spaces that I want orange. Remember, any shapes next to each other shouldn't be the same color. So I used orange here. I probably don't want to use orange here as well. As I'm painting, remembering to go slow, especially next to spots that I've already painted. This is still a little wet. If I touch it with my orange paint, it's gonna start to mix because wet paints mix together. So I'm gonna go extra slow on my edges here so I don't mix in with the paint that I've already added. I am going to continue my painting until my pumpkins are all filled up with my warm colors, making sure I wash out my paintbrush anytime that I switch colors and painting carefully in the lines. Notice I haven't painted my background yet. I'm only working on my pumpkins.